Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here, another edition of Off the Top Rope. I know everybody has been kind of waiting to hear my thoughts on the big story from Sunday. R-Truth is no longer with WWE. Let me first get this out of the way and let me just say it's sad. It really is sad. R-Truth is one of my favorites. I continuously, you can go to my social media, and try to count how many times I said R-Truth is a goddamn national treasure. He is. Because that guy is the embodiment of sports entertainment. An incredible athlete, has been in incredible shape, even into his 50s, still one of the great athletes, that WWE has. They don't use him in that capacity because R-Truth is not there to have five-star classics and everything. He's there to entertain. And whether you like the way he was portrayed or not, he was fucking entertaining. And to see him leave WWE, it sucks. This was the nature of the business. But the way that this was portrayed really pissed me off a little bit. But let's get this out of the way first off. Let's read what he said on social media. He said, "I'm sorry to inform you all, I just got released from WWE. I want to thank WWE for the ride, but mostly I want to thank each and every one of you who was along for the ride. Thank you for all the love, support, and appreciation you have given me over the years. Thank you. Thank you, Truth. Thank you, Truth. Thank you, Ron Killings, for basically, I think it was back in 2008 or 2009, he returned to WWE. People forget in the early 2000s, he was K-Quick, and he had a decent run early on. So he's been with WWE for a while. People also forget he was in TNA, and I could totally see him going there. We'll talk about the AEW piece of this because that's part of this that really pissed me off. But yeah, let me just say, first and foremost, it sucks what happened. It sucks that R-Truth isn't staying in WWE. But let's not act like this is some sort of goddamn travesty against humanity or some sort of injustice or some sort of racial crime, because that's not what this is. This is business, okay? And be honest with yourself, everybody. What more was there for R-Truth to do in WWE? What more was there for him to do? He faced his childhood hero. He won the WWE Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania last year. This guy in his 50s did about as much as you could possibly do for a guy who's basically been a mid-carder his entire career. He had one world championship match, and yeah, he was with Miz and faced off against John Cena and The Rock when they were the Awesome Truth. This was 15 years ago. Let's be real. R-Truth had done just about everything that he could possibly do. Fun fact, he won a United States championship about 5 or 6 years ago by accident. Go look it up. It's actually true. The guy did about as much as you could possibly do in your career, given his status in the company. And he made things really entertaining. And I think what created more life for him is because that he was such a good piece of the locker room and he was so fucking entertaining and he entertained us for so goddamn long. And I think that's a credit to him as a talent. But again, let's not act like this is some sort of a hate crime or this is some bit of racism or this is some sort of travesty or some sort of an injustice against humanity. R-Truth did maybe the one thing left for him to do was to face John Cena one-on-one. They hadn't faced each other in 14, 15 years. John Cena was a heel. R-Truth had this whole gimmick that he had that John Cena was his childhood hero. So facing him one-on-one when John Cena was a heel made a ton of sense. In hindsight, maybe you would have liked for this to be maybe effectively a retirement match. I don't know if R-Truth's going to continue in wrestling moving forward. Some people in AEW are going to clamor for him to go over there. And it's like, what is there going to be for him to do in AEW? It's just, some people made the joke of saying, hey, with all the ex-WWE guys, R-Truth could just show up over there and still think he's in WWE. But what's that going to accomplish for AEW? But yeah, guys, get a hold of yourselves, please. What more was there for him to do? He did good business. He faced John Cena. Every one of you were mad that he got a match with John Cena in his final year. And some people were saying they wasted an appearance on R-Truth. And a week later, and all of a sudden you want him in AEW and you think this is some sort of crime against humanity. Hindsight's 2020. Listen, R-Truth had a really good run, especially in the back half here, because most people in his age, yeah, I understand that he's incredibly talented and, still incredibly in good shape and can still do a lot more than people ask him to do. But again, in his age group, most people don't last that long in WWE anymore. We were always mad that people in the older age discrepancy were taking away opportunities from somebody else. And I'm not saying that R-Truth was doing that, but what else was he doing other than, confusing Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa for DX, or, just breaking people's characters? Like, he was entertaining, but there was nothing left for him to do. And I give him credit actually for, giving, doing one more job for JC Mattea, the former Jeff Cobb, and putting him over in a short match. But yeah, that's really what R-Truth was. So everybody was just going to be mad about it because, yeah, he's entertaining and he's given us a lot in the last handful of years. But it's just like, come on, guys, get over yourselves. Like, this is not some sort of like, miscarriage of justice, like in the fact that like they got rid of him. And I think some of this is the way he represented it from his social media, saying he got released. He did not get released. His contract expired. That happens. They didn't renew it. And we don't know what the full story of this is yet. He could easily, end up, re-signing as part of a Legends deal. And I'd fully expect at some point R-Truth to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Even as little, like, you could look at his, like, career, characterization of, like, like you look at some of his accomplishments and be like, man, but I think because of how entertaining he was and, just what he's been able to give the business for basically the last, like, I'd say 25 or so years, really is remarkable. And like I said, this stretch, I'd say from about 2019 or so, 2018, 2019 to, was really one of his best stretches of his entire career. Yeah, even though he won a United States title by accident and, but he won the tag team titles at WrestleMania. He got to wrestle with his childhood hero, John Cena, in a tag team match and then wrestle him in one of his last matches in WWE. He did really well. He did really well. And, what I'll honestly say, one of the great moments of WWE history is when he entered the Women's Royal Rumble by accident. Like there are countless amounts of times that, like, instead, let's do this, okay? Before I go here, let's not choose to make this the negative side of this thing. Let's remember just how great Ron Killings was in WWE, because there are so many great moments that he made himself look like a complete buffoon and entertained us. Like, he got his ass kicked by Nia Jax and gave up his spot to Nia Jax in the Royal Rumble back in 2019 when he was number 30 and Nia Jax kicked his ass. Okay? Like, this guy was about as giving up a start. And I think the portrayals of everybody being shocked in the back about what happened, I think is more so of just what he gave and just the type of guy he was in that locker room, despite, like I said, making himself look like a complete and utter buffoon. Like, it takes true skill to make yourself look stupid as many times as R-Truth did. And that's what yeah, I think because of his athletic ability and just, like, how long he's been able to do this, and from every account that I've heard, he is just one of the great people in the industry. What he gave to this industry, let's do that instead of just, talking about, like, how much of a miscarriage of justice this was. Because yes, obviously the easy and low hanging fruit is going to be to point at TKO and, basically say, man, they're just releasing people. It's like, he didn't get released. His contract expired. They didn't have anything else for him to do. Based off what we're told, like, we don't know. And based off that social media post, he didn't sound disgruntled, butthurt. He sounded grateful. So why does this have to turn into, like, oh, the Fed's bad, let's go get him to AEW, let's do this, let's do that? First of all you people on that side were saying it was so terrible that he was facing John Cena in the top storyline, and then a week later he's out of the company. Like, why does this have to be some sort of just travesty against humanity? Let's be grateful that we got this guy to entertain us for so fucking long without him being really a world championship contender for most of his career. It's hard to do what R-Truth was able to do in his career. And I am grateful, and I will continue to say it. That guy is a fucking national treasure. I hope he gets a WWE Hall of Fame induction. I hope he gets a Legends deal. Whatever he wants to do, as far as I'm concerned. I would say don't go to AEW, Although that being said, the idea of him basically going to AEW and thinking he's still in WWE would be really entertaining. I don't know what good it would do for AEW, but yeah. But again, it sucks what happened to Ron Killings today, Sunday, June 1st. It sucks that his contract's up. It sucks that this is the way things go in the wrestling business, but it's not a miscarriage of justice. It's not any sort of racism. It's not any sort of like, just, means to bring up tribalism or anything and, dunk on WWE and dunk on WWE. Let's just be happy that we were blessed to have R-Truth in our lives for so long in wrestling, because he, like I said, it's really hard to, be in wrestling, not be really a prominently featured, at the top of the card, and have as much longevity as Ron Killings did in WWE. So that's a testament to him. So let's just be happy for that. Let's not focus on the negative. It sucks what happened, but again, not a travesty. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.